Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we are embarking on a massive chronological journey right through the heart of one of the most famous, iconic landscapes on Earth, New York City. We're going to trace the history of this unbelievable metropolis, and we're not doing it through its politicians or its battles. No, we're looking straight up, we're tracking the towering history of a skyline that is literally constantly reinventing itself.
So think about this. What if every single building in New York tells a story worth billions of dollars? Because really, we usually just look up and see a bunch of steel and glass, right? But that skyline is absolutely packed with immense narrative and, frankly, financial value. Every brick, every steel beam, it represents a very specific technological breakthrough and, honestly, just an unbelievable amount of capital.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, Early NYC, from the Dutch to the Beaux-Arts era.
Just to give you a quick roadmap, here is the timeline we're looking at today. We're starting way back with the 1600s Dutch homes. Then we'll jump to the early 1900s for the massive steel skyscraper boom, transition right into the post-WWI glass tower dominance, and finally, we'll land on today's ultra-modern sustainable super talls. It's a pretty wild ride.
Right, so our journey kicks off in the 1600s with these super simple Dutch colonial homes. Back then, Lower Manhattan, which was actually known as New Amsterdam, was really just a modest trading post. Structures were, well, they were heavily tethered to the earth. They were built mostly from local timber and stone, strictly limited by the basic, kind of primitive building techniques of the era. The skyline was basically non-existent.
But as the city exploded in wealth, the aesthetic totally transformed. I mean, we saw the rise of those elegant brownstones that give so many neighborhoods their distinct, cozy charm. Then came these towering Gothic churches, like Trinity Church, literally pointing toward the heavens. And we can't forget those incredibly ornate Beaux-Arts masterpieces. Think Grand Central Terminal, which basically brought this massive wave of European grandeur right to the streets of New York.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Steel and Elevator Revolution. This is all about early 1900s innovation.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. See, before the 1900s, builders were physically bound by traditional materials. It was a real problem. A stone building could only go so high before its base walls had to be impossibly thick just to support all the weight above it. But then, the solution hit. Two massive twin breakthroughs: steel frame construction, which could bear huge loads without eating up all your floor space, and the passenger elevator, which suddenly made reaching those crazy new heights completely effortless.
And when you put those together, man, these two technologies didn't just improve buildings, they birthed an entirely new category, the skyscraper. Think about it. Without steel, you just couldn't build up safely. And without the elevator, well, those upper floors were totally useless because nobody's walking up 30 flights of stairs. Together, they absolutely shattered all the previous limitations of architecture.
This massive technological boom gave us some absolute legends: the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. The sheer monumental scale of these structures sparked this fierce, cutthroat, competitive race to the sky. Get this, the Chrysler Building actually hid its spire inside the building during construction. Seriously, they hoisted it up at the very last minute just to surprise their rivals and snatch the title of tallest in the world. How crazy is that?
Naturally, these landmarks became true symbols of American innovation because building higher wasn't just a practical solution for a really crowded, narrow little island. No, it was a loud, booming declaration to the rest of the world. It was all about technological supremacy and just boundless, unstoppable ambition.
Which brings us to Section 3, glass towers and sustainable super talls, from post-World War II all the way to today.
So after all that heavy stone and masonry of the early 20th century, we see this major architectural pivot. Sleek, glass skyscrapers suddenly started dominating Manhattan. Pioneered by iconic buildings like the Seagram Building, the city literally started to mirror the sky. They traded in the gargoyles and the heavy stone for these clean, sharp, geometric lines of continuous glass. It became known as the International style.
But while the mid-century was all about that sleek glass dominance, today's era, it has shifted entirely. We are pushing height to absolute mind-boggling extremes, building these crazy, pencil-thin super talls. But we're pairing that extreme verticality with a massive, hyper-focused emphasis on environmental sustainability.
These modern super talls are actively redefining the future of urban living, because architects today, they aren't just chasing height records anymore. They are integrating deeply advanced green technologies, stuff like rainwater harvesting and energy-efficient dynamic glass, all to minimize the building's carbon footprint. It really is the ultimate marriage of extreme engineering and serious ecological responsibility.
And finally, Section 4, NYC, a living museum. Let's tie this all together.
Ultimately, New York isn't just a city. It really is a living museum of architectural history. Those simple Dutch homes, the elegant brownstones, the towering steel giants, and today's sustainable super talls, they didn't just replace one another, they layered together. It's like a giant puzzle. When you walk down just a single block in Manhattan, you are physically walking through hundreds of years of brilliant human innovation.
So I've got to ask, which New York building is your absolute favorite? We've covered the humble beginnings, the massive steel revolution, and these wild modern super talls. Let us know your favorite era or specific structure down in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this explainer and this journey through history, definitely subscribe for more amazing deep dives from around the world. Keep learning, keep looking up, and I'll see you next time.